Our scripture reading for today is Habakkuk chapter 2, verses 1 through 3. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And Yahweh answered me and said, Write the vision, and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak, and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Our selection today, Write the Vision.
Write the vision, make it plain, that they may run and not faint. Though the vision is only for a while, it shall speak and not lie.
The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby ye are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as dear children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication, and all uncleanness, or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as become saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim, for Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth. Therefore, let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you, to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and have sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that he has enjoined unto us here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. Today we're going to deal with purchasing the field. That is the title of today's sermon. What we have to do is, especially being in the daughter of Babylon, is figuring out what things are of importance unto us, and what are we willing to do for the things that we say are important. We are surrounded by real life and fake life. We got real friends, and then we got internet friends. And if you don't know the difference, you really think that some of those internet friends are really your friends. We have to learn the difference between, acquaintances and people that we know, and then friends. Yahshua really caused some issues with some of his statements. A lot of people say that they believe in Christ. A lot of people say that they all about all of these things. But he says, who is my mother and my brother? My mother and my brother are the people that shared this word with me. He automatically drew a line right down. He didn't really care about, anybody's feelings, how they felt about it. He put it out there. If you're not walking with me, you walking against me. And I have to put you on that other side. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And at that point, we have to figure out, okay, if we find a precious jewel in the field and we go about to get ourselves together, get our accounting together to go get that field, you got to figure out what's working with you to get that field and what's working against you when you get ready to get that field. But let's begin today's sermon in Exodus chapter 3. And we're going to start that at verse 1. so that we can see that this concept does not just show up when Yeshua enters the scene in the New Testament. Exodus chapter 3, and we're going to start that at verse 1.
Now Moshe kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian. And he led the flock to the backside of the desert and came to the mountain of Elohim, even to Horeb. And the angel of Yahweh appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burnt with fire, and the bush was not consumed.
So there was something then physically desirable about this place that he led him, because this is a strange thing. This ain't normal. Go ahead.
And Moshe said, I'll now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt. And when Yahweh saw that he turned aside to see,
Of course he was going to turn aside to see. Okay? He sees something on fire, but it ain't burning. But look, Yahweh shows you a great thing, then he turn around and show you the rules. Go ahead.
Elohim called unto him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moshe, Moshe. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Draw not near hither. Put off your shoes from off your feet.
See, now you have seen the great sight. You have seen this thing that I led you to see it, but now I gotta make sure you understand the rules. Take your shoes off. So there's stages in dealing with this thing. We want to behold the great sight, but then when it comes down to the rules and regulations of being a part of something holy, now we got a problem. Go ahead.
For the place whereon you standeth is holy ground. Moreover, he said, I am the El of your father, the El of Abraham, the El of Esaac, and the El of Jacob. And Moshe hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon Elohim. And Yahweh said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by the reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows. And I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land onto a good land and a large, onto a land flowing with milk and honey, onto the place of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites.
Now, the thing that's, sometimes confusing with Yahweh is he says, I have seen the affliction of my people. Yeah, we kind of been going through this for generations. I mean, you seen it today. I mean, Yahweh show up like, when he show up, like I just found this out yesterday. Yahweh, we've been going through this for a couple hundred years now. Yeah, I've seen the affliction of my people. And then when he show up though, he show up in grand style. See, we just want to be free at this point. No. You're not only are you going to be free, but you about to be rich. You about to be free and rich. Now here's the problem though. We still got the mentality of poor slaves. And when you have the mentality of poor slaves, having a large land, rich and fertile, becomes a problem. Go ahead.
Now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel is come unto me, and I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppressed them. Come now, therefore, and I'll send you unto Pharaoh, that you may bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. And Moshe said unto Elohim, Who am I, that I should go unto Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt?
You know who he was? Handpicked for the job. Handpicked. It says he was one of the meekest men on the earth. Every time Yahweh directed his life, he changed with the direction. Yahweh point left, he went left. Yahweh point right, he went right. But he also wasn't no punk. He saw his folk getting mistreated. I'm going to put him in the hole. Yahweh handpicked that one. Because he said, look here, these people who you about to lead, I'm telling you, I'm trying to told you, these people right here, if you chicken, you're going to have some problems. Because these ain't regular people. He handpicked this one. He don't know that though. Who am I? You just the kind of ruffian I need. Smooth around the edges, but completely rough in the middle. You what I've been looking for. Go ahead.
You know, you got to think about it, the way he was raised. He's got skills that they don't have, even though we don't really hear about it, because you raised in Pharaoh's house as his grandson. You military trained.
You better believe it. You know what they had in Coming to America? Oh boy, he got martial arts class. He's not going to school with the regular people. He trained to fight. He know the gods that we out trying to worship. He know the gods better than we do. So every time we get ready to worship one of them gods, Moshe, stop. What you doing? Now I know what. See, you gonna put that with that, and then put this with this, and then you're gonna start worshiping. I know that better than you do. Go ahead.
And he said, certainly I'll be with you, and this shall be a token unto you that I have sent you. When you have brought forth the people out of Egypt, you shall serve Elohim upon this mountain.
Upon this mountain. So then he shows him a piece of property that's important unto him. Go ahead.
And Moshe said unto Elohim, behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, the El of your fathers has sent me unto you, and they shall say to me, what is his name? And what shall I say unto them?
Now understand, he shows him the land. But to purchase the land, you gotta go get my people and show back up with them. I know I showed you by yourself, but this not yours by yourself. Now I showed you this by yourself, but this not yours by yourself. Go get my people. Now when you come back, that's how you purchasing the land. Go get my people, and when you show back up, you the man. But don't show back up by yourself though. You understand? You gotta show up with the purchase price. The purchase price is these people. Now, getting these people, did I ever tell you about my people? Now getting these people here now, I sent an angel, you gonna need him. You gonna need him, because these some different kind of people. Go ahead.
And Elohim said unto Moshe, Yahweh. And he said, thus shall you say unto the children of Israel, Yah has sent me unto you. And Elohim said moreover unto Moshe, thus shall you say unto the children of Israel, Yahweh Elohim of your fathers, the El of Abraham, the El of Esaac, and the El of Jacob, has sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations. Go and gather the elders of Israel together, and say unto them, Yahweh Elohim of your fathers, the El of Abraham, of Esaac, and of Jacob, appeared unto me, saying, I have surely visited you, and seen that which is done to you in Egypt. And I have said, I will bring you up out of the affliction of Egypt onto the land of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, onto a land flowing with milk and honey. And they shall hearken to your voice, and you shall come, you and the elders of Israel, unto the king of Egypt, and you shall say unto them, Yahweh Elohim of the Hebrews has met with us, and now let us go, we beseech you, 3 days' journey into the wilderness, that we may sacrifice to Yahweh our Elohim. And I am sure that the king of Egypt will not let you go, no, not by a mighty hand. And I'll stretch out my hand, and smite Egypt with all my wonders, which I will do in the midst thereof. And after that he will let you go. And I'll give the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, and it shall come to pass that when you go, you shall not go empty.
Now understand, Yahweh is giving them the whole play. There's a whole lot of things that's gonna happen in the middle of this. He giving you the Sports Center highlights. All right, this gonna happen, this gonna happen. At the end, you're gonna leave with some stuff. Now, it's some other plays that you ain't gonna find out right away until you get in the midst of this. But I'm finna give you the highlights. You're gonna leave out with substance, but you're gonna go through some stuff. Go ahead.
But every woman shall borrow of her neighbor, and of her that sojourns in her house, jewels of silver and jewels of gold, and raiment, and you shall put them upon your sons and upon your daughters, and you shall spoil the Egyptians.
Right. So then these things that they're going to get, understand, they're coming out with this substance, but then he turn around and demands a offering of the children of Israel so that they are personally responsible for the place that they got to build. He give you the money to get back to him so that you got something to put in on the land. Remember that. They slaves. But he said, you're not going to leave out of here empty. I got you. I want you to read that note for the next graphic.
Exodus chapter 12, verses 35 through 36. And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moshe, and they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment.
Now, this is Exodus chapter 12. He tells them about it in 3. Go ahead.
And Yahweh gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required, and they spoiled the Egyptians.
Right. The question is, in our situation of purchasing this field, are we able to make it from chapter 3 to chapter 12? He tell you in 3, but you don't get it to 12. See, our problem is when he tell us in 3 and verse 5, we want it by verse 18. Look, Yahweh, it's been 15 verses since you said that. I've surely thought I'd have it by now. Oh, no. You got to go through a little bit before you get this. And it never does, cross our minds that if we get it too early, we're going to spoil it anyway. So at the same time he's telling them these things, he also has to work on their mind for the things that they are about to receive, because they are not ready to receive, but they think they are. Let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 24. We always believe that we're ready. Second Samuel chapter 24, and we're going to read verses 14 through 25.
And Dawid said unto Gad, I am in a great strait. Let us fall now into the hand of Yahweh, for his mercies are great, and let me not fall into the hand of man.
So to bring you up to speed here, Yahweh was angry with the children of Israel and led Dawid to count and number the people. After that, he then gets ready to punish him. Then has him to make a decision. Which way will you get punished? This is a very, very difficult, situation to be in. So he makes this choice, and the whole time he's dealing with Israel. But here's the part about being in control of something. Whenever you're in charge, whatever happens is your fault. If you're in charge of a house, whatever happened in that house is your fault. I don't care if you did it. Whatever happens, it is your fault. Go ahead.
So Yahweh sent a pestilence upon Israel from the morning even to the time appointed. And there died of the people from Dan even to Beersheba 70,000 men. And when the angel stretched out his hand upon Jerusalem to destroy it, Yahweh repented him of the evil and said to the angel that destroyed the people, it is enough. Stay now your hand.
All right. So then a great sacrifice has been made right here at this place, and this is where he sees the angel. Go ahead.
And the angel of Yahweh was by the threshing place of Arnah the Jebusite. And Dawid spake unto Yahweh when he saw the angel that smote the people, and said, Lo, I have sinned, and I have done wickedly. But these sheep, what have they done? Let your hand, I pray you, be against me, and against my father's house.
Right, but you don't find that out, that it was actually Israel that he was dealing with. Go ahead.
And Gad came that day to Dawid, and said unto him, Go up, rear an altar unto Yahweh in the threshing floor of Arnah the Jebusite.
Right. So then this, then when you back up and look at the things that was told Moshe, Yahweh already spied out this land. He has already said, this field right here, I'm going to need you to purchase it. Now, here they go back. They're supposed to be our people coming out of Egypt, but then he tells them all these other, to the Canaanite, the Hittites, the Jebusite. Wait a minute, there's more people than we fighting here. How you helping us? You got us more enemies. Go ahead.
And Dawid, according to the saying of Gad, went up as Yahweh commanded. And Arnah looked, and saw the king and his servants coming on toward him. And Arna went out and bowed himself before the king on his face upon the ground. And Arna said, Wherefore is my master the king come to his servant? And Dawid said, To buy the threshing floor of you, to build an altar unto Yahweh, that the plague may be stayed from the people. And Arna said unto Dawid, Let my master the king take and offer up what seems good unto him. Behold, here be oxen for burnt sacrifice, and threshing instruments and other instruments of the oxen for wood. All these things did Arna, as a king, give unto the king. And Arna said unto the king, Yahweh or Elohim accept you. And the king said unto Arna, No, but I'll surely buy it of you at a price. Neither will I offer burnt offerings unto Yahweh my Elohim of that which does cost me nothing.
If it costs you nothing, it has no value to your Elohim. So we have to then pause and see, what do we offer unto our Elohim? If it don't mean anything to you, it didn't mean nothing to him. In other words, you decide the value of what you offer. You already know when you're offering it. If that don't mean nothing to you, it didn't mean nothing to him. So when we give him our little leftover time, our little leftover money, understand, it don't mean nothing to him. Why? Because he know it didn't mean nothing to you. Go ahead.
So Dawid bought the threshing floor and the oxen for 50 shekels of silver. And Dawid built there an altar unto Yahweh, and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings. So Yahweh was entreated for the land, and the plague was stayed from Israel.
The plague was stayed from Israel. So this had to be done a certain way, but you also see that Yahweh picked the field. He picked the land. All of this has happened for him to say, this is the place, right here. And one thing about a traumatic event, you remember what happened in a traumatic event. See, I can tell you, look, remember this, remember this, remember this. You're like, well, I might remember. But if I grab that piece of wood off that desk and I go across your face, you're going to remember everything that happened that day. What? You're going to remember what you was wearing?
Had on that blue shirt with the had the line in it. And he hit me right there across my whole face swole up. What day was that? October 12th, about 4:14.
You're going to be able to tell exactly where you are? What happened? Then that's what he wants you to remember. So instead of having this conversation with you, my son, my daughter, please remember this. He's just going to punch you in the face. You're going to remember it then. You ain't never going to forget that. Then when it come back around, boom, you, oh, no. This is where I got punched in the face at. Right, y'all come over here. No, right here. This is where you want me to be. Boom. He ain't gonna punch you in the face hard enough to take your face off. Just hard enough for you to pay attention. That's all. Let's go to Matthew chapter 19. So our problem is we keep listening to all these people that said, God talked to me last night, and the Lord said. You know the first thing he had a conversation with Moshe? Moshe said, what's your name? You don't find it interesting that all these people had conversations but don't nobody know their name? It's the first thing you ask somebody when somebody come up to you, hey, brother such and such, hey man, what's your name? That's the beginning of a conversation. How is it all these people done had these conversations but don't nobody know? He has many names. How many of them did he tell you when he talked to you? It's a valid question. How many of them did he say when he talked to you? Did he just start off saying, Charles, James, Matthew, Samuel? Did he start with all them names? Okay, I didn't think so. Matthew chapter 19. Because I'm trying to tell you, somebody start off, and before we even have a conversation, and they done told me that they got 20 names, that conversation's over. Because this is definitely a Looney to the Tune in front of me. You got 19, 20 names? We ain't even started a conversation yet. I'm out. Matthew 19, start that at verse 16.
And behold, one came and said unto him, Good master, what good thing shall I do that I may have eternal life? And he said unto him,
He didn't say that I might go to heaven. He didn't say what good thing I might do that I might go to heaven. Everybody say they believe in the New Testament, but they don't. See, I didn't go back to some Old Testament law to throw that Valhalla doctrine, which is what it is. It is their Viking thing that they believe. They set themselves on fire and the ashes floated up in the air, and they said that our people are going into heaven. Now we turn around and pick it up. Folks still in the box, in the casket. They say he's looking down on us. No, he ain't. He's looking up. He right there. You done got that Valhalla and stuck it in here. We read about Lazarus. What his sister said? Oh, I know he gonna rise again at the resurrection at the last day. She didn't ever think he was going to heaven. Now, how is it that we getting that doctrine? Right. That's what we want. So it make us feel good. See? These are the people that we give a whole lot of money to. The people who tell us them kind of lies. Your uncle in heaven. No, your uncle sleep. These the people we give our chief time and our chief money to. Because they lie to us real good. The kind of lies we like. Go ahead.
And he said unto him, Why call you me good? There's none good but one, that is Elohim. But if you will enter into life, keep the commandments. He says unto him, Which? Yahshua said, You shall do no murder, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not steal, you shall not bear false witness. Honor thy father and thy mother, and you shall love your neighbor as yourself.
Now, we go and read other places. It says all the law and the prophets is on these two things. One of them, love thy neighbor as thyself. You know how many things you have to grasp as a concept to be able to do that? See, we think if I love my neighbor as myself, that means if I don't love me, then it's okay that I don't love my neighbor. Go ahead.
The young man says unto him, All these things have I kept from my youth up. What lack I yet?
Now, here's where things get interesting. This is what, think about what this young man is saying. He's basically saying, I was raised in the Word. What you talking about? I know all this. Here is where that line gets interesting. See, now, right up here, he says, honor your father and your mother. He's listing this right along with you shall do no murder and you shall not commit adultery. This is interesting. He says, all these things have I kept from my youth up. What lack I yet? Keep reading.
Yahshua said unto him, If you will be perfect, go and sell that you have, and give to the poor, and you shall have treasure in heaven, and come and follow me.
So now we got a problem. Now we got a problem because now what Yahshua has said, I'm telling you what the purchase price of this field is. You want this field? I'm trying to tell you what this field costs. Wait a minute now. Go ahead.
But when the young man heard that saying, he went away sorrowful, for he had great possessions. Then said Yahshua unto his disciples, Verily I say unto you, that a rich man can hardly enter into the kingdom of heaven.
Right. Wait a minute now. Why would he say that? A rich man can hardly enter into the kingdom of heaven. And one thing we want to be from sun up to sundown, from a kid to a old a man or woman with no teeth in our head. We want to be rich. Now why are you gonna say this? Keep reading.
And again I say unto you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of Elohim. When his disciples heard it, they were exceedingly amazed, saying, Who then can be saved? But Yahshua beheld them and said unto them, With men this is impossible, but with Elohim all things are possible.
With Elohim all things are possible. So that means that at some point we're going to have to learn to put things into a different line of perspective according to his view. Go ahead.
Then answered Cephas and said unto him, Behold, we've forsaken all, and followed you. What shall we have therefore? And Yahshua said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that you which have followed me, in the regeneration when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, you also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel.
So then it's a level of the work then. It's a level according to sacrifice. Everybody not able to sacrifice the same amount. Everybody not able to do the same things. And they also should not be sitting in the same seats. Go ahead.
They already purchased their seats and didn't even know it.
Right. Go ahead.
And everyone that
But they got nothing though. You see? So it's hard to see that they're purchasing their seat because they don't have any money. See, you got to have one way or another you're going to purchase this field. Either you're going to pay it off or you're going to work it off. You're going to pay for this field. You ain't just coming up in there. Go ahead.
And everyone that has forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands for my name's sake, shall receive 100-fold, and shall inherit everlasting life. But many that are first shall be last, and the last shall be first.
All right. So then, with that said, I want to go to Matthew chapter 10. And I want to read a couple verses out of here. Because Yahshua says some things, but then we have to go and look at a few other things. Matthew chapter 10 and verse 34. We're going to read verses 34 through 39.
Verse 34. Think not that I come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword.
Now, a lot of people are going to have a problem with that because they say, Christ loves everybody. And that he's just coming for love. He come with hugs, kisses, balloons and chocolates. He just coming for a love fest. He just gonna hug you and squeeze you to Reese's Pieces. This is what he come for. Wait a minute now. He said, think not that I came to send peace. I came not to send peace, but a sword. He came to cause division. He came to cause a separation. The sheep's supposed to be separate from the goats. Go ahead.
For I come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
Wait a minute, didn't he just say honor your father and your mother? Now he's talking about he gonna cause a separation. Now wait a minute. The young man said, I've done this from my youth up, right? That means he was raised in the word. But who does he hold more important? His mother and father or the dictates of Yahshua? Now we got a problem. Now we got a problem. Now we got to figure out, am I going to follow mom and daddy or I'm going to follow Yahshua? Now we got a problem. I've done this from my youth up. What lack I yet? I've been taught this. Wait a minute. If you've been taught it, who taught it to him? Hey, mom and daddy. Now we got a problem. Now we got a problem. Because now Yahshua got something for you. Are you going to trade that in if he don't give the same thing to your mom and daddy? See, sometimes the purchase of that price, the purchase of that field get a little high. It get a little high. What if mama don't want to go with you? Wait a minute, the purchase price just got higher. Wait a minute, what if daddy don't want to go with you? Wait a minute. Can I just buy the part of the field? No. You either gonna purchase this field or you ain't. But sir, I've been doing this from my youth. What lack I yet? All right, come on. This is the purchase price of the field. Before he went on with Abraham, he made sure his father was dead because he already knew it's gonna be a problem between me and your daddy. It's gonna be a problem. See, your daddy got them images, and I know you respect your dad. Your daddy's a respectable man, but he worships. He got some other stuff that he carry. You ain't bringing that into the field that I got for you. Well, my daddy, brought on my uncle. All right, so now you brought on your little nephew or whatever he is to you. Now you got to do this thing. Well, wait a minute. He can't come to this land. He got some other stuff going on in his heart. I got a field for you, but you just can't bring all these people just because they cool with you. See, they got to buy the field too. See, everybody that has something to do with the field got to put in on the purchase price. And I'm telling you, the folk you got with you, they don't have the right kind of funds. See, this is a spiritual bank account. You understand what I'm saying to you? I know you got a physical bank account. They don't have the right type of money. See, when you pull out that Monopoly money, you say, that man, that's an orange 20. Bro, you can't go in McDonald's with that orange 20. You go in there and tell him, give me a combo number 2. Sit back proud. You know what? Superside that. Bro, you can't buy nothing with that orange 20. Okay. All right. Where you at, brother?
Then we see the same thing with Boaz, though. He presented the field and said, hold on.
Yeah.
It's all or nothing. This come with it, too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. It's all inclusive. You know? If you can't purchase the field, step out the way and let somebody else purchase it. Step out the way, let somebody else go ahead and put, their time in to purchase this field. Don't stand in the way. You taking up stock options. Go ahead, brother. Where you at?
Verse 36.
Go ahead.
And a man's foe shall be they of his own household.
Of his own household. Come and get deep off in this word and watch what your family say to you. Get too deep into the word. As long as you just carrying the Bible, you everybody friend. Open it. Open it. Open it and start going through some of these pages. Mama, you know it's saying here. You know what? See, you done lost your spirit now. Wait a minute. So I lost my spirit when I started reading it? But I had spirit when I carried it. Oh, okay. I see how this works. I'm okay as long as I don't read it. Now, what's interesting, it'd be the very person who taught you how to read that then have a problem with you reading. Wait a minute. Wasn't you the one that taught me how to read? Then you taught me about a subject and a predicate, a noun and a verb. You taught me these things. Now I'm taking those things that you taught me and I started reading. And I said, wait a minute now. I'm trying to figure out this stuff that we doing, and it don't match the stuff that I read.
See, now I don't know who teaching you this stuff.
Okay. This is how he brings forth the sword. See, there's levels of being in the word. See? Yahweh may turn around and bring you to another level that your folks ain't at. Guess what? He just brought a sword in the middle of your house. Not that they not in the word. They just been on level 2 for 26 years. And Yahweh said, come up hither.
They said, no, level 2 is fine. You know what I'm saying? Me and your mama, we like this place right here on level 2. We done put decorations on level 2. We got a lot of stuff right here. We got a little bathroom right there. We just go, it's nice. It's nice. You working too hard.
No, I want to go up there. I've been on level 2 my whole life. I ain't never seen another level. At least you seen level 1. All I ever seen was level 2, and you're comfortable here. I need to see what's past this page. Go ahead.
He that loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me.
Uh-oh.
And he that loves son
He's
or
dropping
daughter,
the price. He's letting you know what this gonna cost. Are you gonna be able to purchase this field? Well, I've been stacking up money. Yeah, but this is a different kind of money. Go ahead.
and he that loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me.
Here we go.
And he that takes not his burden and follow after me is not worthy of me. He that finds his life shall lose it, and he that loses his life for my sake shall find it.
He that, oh man, he really putting some things out there. When we consider on one side, he says, honor your father and your mother. On another side, he then also lets you know that hey, it don't override the purchase price. Yeah, I told you to honor your mother and your father, but in no way, shape, fashion, or form are they allowed to override the purchase price. Understand that. Now, Yahshua recites the law saying how a man should honor his father and mother, but then places boundaries, as he also states that if any love his mother and father more than him, that he is not worthy of Yahshua. And we have to consider this. If this individual said, all this I have done, what lack I yet? Then he been raised in it. But he still had to deal with that purchase price. Let's go to Matthew chapter 13. See, a whole lot of doctrine you can tear up and never have to go to the Old Testament. People like to say, well, you know, they dealing with that stuff in the Old Testament. No, you read this New Testament and it will give you a whole different view of that stuff that you be flipping through the channels and see. You realize that they purposely avoided certain verses. See, you thought they just stopped there. No. They purposely did not read certain verses because they knew the turmoil that it was going to bring if they read it. Matthew chapter 13, and we're going to read verses 44 through 58.
Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto treasure hid in a field, the which when a man has found, he hides, and for joy thereof goes and sell all that he has and buys that field. This is what Yahshua was trying to, get the rich young man to deal with. This is what the whole focus of this is. How important is this to you? So your actions going to show how important it is to you. Go ahead. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant man seeking goodly pearls, who, when he has found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and bought it.
Now, what is the concept that he's talking about? This is your focus has to change. When he says sell all you have, a lot of times we're focusing on all our material things. What he's dealing with is your thought process. Your thought process is on all of this. This is why you can't deal with this. Go ahead.
Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into the sea and gathered of every kind, which, when it was full, they drew to shore and sat down and gathered the good into vessels, but cast the bad away. So shall it be at the end of the world. The angels shall come forth and sever the wicked from among the just. There's going to be a separation. Yahshua says, I came to cause a separation. I'm just doing the same thing we're going to do at the end. It's going to be a separation. Separate the sheep from the goats. Separate the righteous from the wicked. Separate, the parents from the offspring. Didn't he already do that in that wilderness? Everybody older than such and such who seen my glory and decided not to deal with it, y'all gonna die here. We think we bringing something to the kids. It's the kids that got to walk in. It was the people who was set in their mind who couldn't go. The kids got to go. And we think we protecting them. You ain't protecting them. They going. They sitting there waiting on you to die off. Because that's that old mentality that they got to let die off. And Yahweh will not go one step forward until every one of that old mentality died off. That old mentality does not get to go into the purchase field. It's not allowed to go. Go ahead. And shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Yahshua said unto them, Have you understood all these things? They say unto him, Yes, Adonai. Then said he unto them, Therefore every scribe which is instructed unto the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder, which brings forth out of his treasure things new and old. And it came to pass that, when Yahshua had finished these parables, he departed thence. And when he was come into his own country, he taught them in their synagogue, insomuch that they were astonished, and said, Whence has this man this wisdom, and these mighty works? Is not this the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Miriam, and his brother Jacob and Joseph, and Simeon and Yehudas?
Same thing they said about you. Wait a minute, is the same dude that used to fight down there in South Carolina? All of a sudden he here talking about the word and he won't tell us God's name and all that. He wasn't saying God's name, he was fighting right outside the Foot Locker. Go ahead.
And his sisters, are they not all with us? Whence then has this man all these things? And they were offended in him.
They were offended in him. You see all it takes to be offended? We don't understand how you got here. We don't understand how your talk changed. We don't understand how your walk changed. We offended. That's all it takes to offend somebody. It's for you to start doing something different. They are automatically offended. They are offended when you decide to dress in culture and cover yourself. Why are you offended? Because you're bringing out what they're not doing. That's how you offend them. You are bringing a light to what they are not doing and they know they're supposed to be doing. When you show up clothed and everybody else naked, you just offended them. You offended them because, wait a minute, you got your loins covered? You got all this stuff covered? I'm offended. Be naked like us. No. Go ahead.
But Yahshua said unto them, A prophet is not without honor, save in his own country and in his own house.
Save in his own country and in his own house. Let me tell you something. You're going to suffer the most at your place. You may be able to lead a whole bunch of people, but the people in your house are the ones who are going to have the biggest indignation against you. This dude here. Right. Did Miriam have a problem with Moshe? Mm-hmm. Said, we all holy. Right. The question is, are we strong enough to let Yahshua use that sword to divide? Or every time he divides, do we keep trying to push it back together? He divides, we keep trying to push it back together. He and I already showed you what that is. Why you keep trying to put that back together? Let's go to Exodus chapter 30.
Finish verse 58.
Yeah, go ahead and finish. I'm sorry, verse 58.
And he did not many mighty works there because of their unbelief.
Right. So he was limited in what he could do because they were offended in him. And it's going to be like so with us. Sometimes as you get ready to grow spiritually, you're going to have to leave some things behind. Because the things of old don't like your new growth. And that's hard for us to accept. Because those might be some people that you really care about, some people that you really love. They just can't deal with you on this new level. Their mind has been set that this is what you are and this is all you ever gonna be. And every time you try to grow, they gonna keep pulling you right back. No, you remember that time? You remember? You remember, don't you? Exodus chapter 30, and we're going to read verses 11 through 16.
Verse 11. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, When you take the sum of the children of Israel after their number, then shall they give every man a ransom for his soul unto Yahweh. When you numbered them, that there be no plague among them, when you numbered them. This they shall give, every one that pass among them that are numbered, half a shekel after the shekel of the sanctuary. A shekel is 20 gerahs, and half a shekel shall be the offering of Yahweh. Everyone that pass among them that are numbered, from 20 years old and above, shall give an offering unto Yahweh. The rich shall not give more, and the poor shall not give less than half a shekel, when they give an offering unto Yahweh to make an atonement for your souls.
All right, so when they were numbered, every man has to give an atonement offering when it comes down to their soul for being numbered. Go ahead.
And you shall take the atonement money of the children of Israel, and shall appoint it for the service of the tabernacle of the congregation, that it may be a memorial unto the children of Israel before Yahweh, to make an atonement for your souls.
And you shall take the atonement money of the children of Israel and appoint it for the service of the tabernacle of the congregation. It's Israel's duty to make sure that the congregation don't fall and decay. It is Israel's duty. Take that and appoint it for the service of it. But see, sometimes we see the service of something, and now we off into something else in our head. We forget that's our duty. See, this is where we have negotiated in our mind, you know what, I don't know how much I'm going to put into this field. Now, I want to play in the field. I want to gather in the field. I don't know how much I want to put into purchasing it, though. Interesting. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 9. This is also why you see levels in the kingdom. Why he said, you know, we have forsaken all. What shall we have? Oh, don't think you're going to get to sit by them if you ain't done nothing. Don't get it twisted. My elder used to always say, I'd be happy to just be a doorkeeper in the kingdom. I got that. But that ain't what I'm shooting for. See, you shoot for a doorkeeper, and there's another thing he used to say. You shoot for a doorkeeper and you miss, you outside. So I got to shoot for something greater. If I miss, I'm a doorkeeper. I'm in, shorty. I'm in. But if I shoot for the lowest thing and I slip, I was outside, Jack. Go ahead, bro.
You know, you got to think about even when King Dawid started to put aside stuff for the building of the temple. He didn't use his money per se. It was the money that was coming from the children of Israel that was put aside to buy the materials. But you've got people, you put out the building fund. The building hasn't even been acquired yet, but they want to buy what they want to buy for the building. Well, we don't know what the building gonna need yet. We don't have the building yet.
But see, that's Jake's way of controlling what's done. Instead of them giving an offering, you know, we snatching up floors and Jake go buy a refrigerator. What the hell we gonna put that refrigerator on? We ain't putting no floor in there yet. Read before I get angry.
1 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 1. Am I not an apostle? Am I not free? Have I not seen Yahshua HaMashiach our Adonai? Are not you my work in the Adonai? If I be not an apostle unto others, yet doubtless I am to you. For the seal of mine apostleship are you in the Adonai. Mine answer to them that do examine me is this. Have we not power to eat and to drink? Have we not power to lead about a sister, a wife, as well as other apostles, and as the brethren of the Adonai and Cephas? Or I only and Barnabas, have not we power to forbear working? Who goeth a warfare any time at his own charges? Who plants a vineyard and eats not of the fruit thereof? Or who feeds a flock and eats not of the milk of the flock? Say I these things as a man, or saith not the law the same also? For it is written in the law of Moshe, you shall not muzzle the mouth of the ox that treads out the corn. Doth Elohim take care for oxen? Or saith he altogether for our sakes? Or saith he it altogether for our sake? For our sakes, no doubt, this is written, that he that plows should plow in hope, and that he that thresheth in hope should be partaker of his hope. If we have sown unto you spiritual things, is it a great thing if we shall reap your carnal things?
Wait a minute now. You got to look at that now. Wait a minute. If we have sown unto you spiritual things, is it a great thing if we shall reap your carnal things? What you bringing to the purchase price? What you bringing? Everybody don't have the same kind of funds. Go ahead.
If others be partakers of this power over you, are not we rather? Nevertheless, we have not used this power, but suffer all things, lest we should hinder the gospel of the Mashiach. Do you not know that they which minister about holy things live of the things of the temple, and they which wait at the altar are partakers with the altar? Even so has the Adonai ordained that they which preach the gospel should live of the gospel.
Right. If I decided that I wasn't going to work and just live for the gospel, I'd be one skinny dude sitting up here. I'd be able to fit my old clothes. No. One thing that people don't understand when they reading these things of Saul, he also had a job.
People say, wait a minute, your priest got a job?
Yep. See, people don't see that part of you know where the Lord take care of me. Wait. They say he was a tent maker by trade. He had a job. But see, people don't see all of that. So they guess what they think they know. Go ahead.
But I have used none of these things, neither have I written these things, that it should be so done unto me. For it were better for me to die than that any man should make my glorying void.
All right, let's go to Romans chapter 15. Romans chapter 15. And we're going to read verses 22 through 27.
Verse 22. For which cause also I have been much hindered from coming to you. But now having no more place in these parts, and having a great desire these many years to come unto you, whensoever I take my journey into Spain, I'll come to you. For I trust to see you in my journey, and to be brought on my way thitherward by you, if first I be somewhat filled with your company. But now I go unto Jerusalem to minister unto the saints. For it has pleased them of Macedonia and Achaia to make a certain contribution for the poor saints which are at Jerusalem. It has pleased them verily, and their debtors they are.
Wait a minute. It has pleased them verily, and their debtors they are. Go ahead.
For if the Gentiles have been made partakers of their spiritual things, their duty is also to minister unto them in carnal things.
Do we even pause and consider something like that? Wait a minute. If the Gentiles have been made partakers of their spiritual things, then it is their duty to minister unto them in carnal things. See, we'll receive of something spiritual and don't think that we're supposed to do anything for it. Go ahead.
When therefore I have performed this, and have sealed to them this fruit, I will come by you into Spain.
All right, let's go to 2 Kings chapter 4. So if the first is true, then the backwards, the opposite is also. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 4. And we're going to read verses 8 through 17. So, it's some of those things where Yeshua says, when you've done these things, you've done them unto me. And they said, when we saw you hunger and we saw you, without, and we did these things unto you. He said, when you did it to the least of them. Who was the least of them? He said, when you did it unto them, you did it unto me. They was then purchasing their field. They didn't even know they were purchasing the field. They didn't know that's what they were doing. Right. 2 Kings chapter 4, and let's start this at verse 8.
And it fell on a day that Elisha passed to Shunem, where was a great woman, and she constrained him to eat bread. And so it was that as oft as he passed by, he turned in thither to eat bread. And he said unto her, and she said unto her husband, Behold, now I perceive that this is a holy man of Elohim, which passed by us continually.
Now, you'll find a lot of times, especially people who not in the word, this is one of the things that they'll say.
Look, are you a man of God?
You're gonna find that this is one of their things right here. They end up saying that, but you'll find out this is in the book a lot. Man of God, man of God. So if you encounter somebody outside of the word, understand that this is one of their things right here. Go ahead.
Let us make a little chamber, I pray you, on the wall, and let us set for him there a bed and a table and a stool and a candlestick. And it shall be, when he comes to us, that he shall turn in thither.
Now, nobody told her to do that, and she asking her husband. See, it says she was a great woman. So, she has some kind of means, right? He didn't say it was a great man and he had a wife. Just a great woman. I'm gonna show you how she was really great. You see how she asked her husband though? Ain't nobody hear me. You know what I'm talking about? Hold on. You see how the great woman asked her husband? The substance probably hers. It probably her money. He said it's a great woman. But she talking to her husband though. Let us make a little chamber, I pray you, on the wall, and let us set for him there a bed and a table and a stool and a candlestick. And it shall be, when he comes to us. He didn't say us. He said her. He said it's a great woman. But she not independent. No matter how much she got, she not independent. She no. There's a head in this house. I don't care how much money I make. There's a head in this house. Let us.
She ain't just say, you know what, this is my money. I done already set up a chamber, a bed, and a candlestick for him. Won't he do it?
She didn't do that. She didn't do that. She didn't do that. She didn't do that. Go ahead.
And it fell on a day that he came thither, and he turned into the chamber and lay there. And he said to Gehazi his servant, Call this Shunammite. And when he had called her, she stood before him. And he
Call
said,
her. Still ain't called a man. It's a great woman. But the great woman made sure she talked to her husband before she just did something. She didn't just, the man didn't just come home and find, hey, who did do? Oh, I told him he could stay here for a little while. I've been watching him go back and forth. He looked holy. He looked like a man of God. But read before I get in trouble. Go ahead.
And he said unto him, Say now unto her, Behold, you've been careful for us with all this care.
With all this care. Look at, you have given us all this care. Look. You doing this for the man of God? What? Keep going.
What is to be done for you? Would you be spoken for to the king or to the captain of the host? And she answered, I dwell among mine own people. And he said, What then is to be done for her? And Gehazi answered, Verily she has no child, and her husband is old. And he said, Call her. And when he had called her, she stood in the door. And he said, About this season, according to the time of life, you shall embrace a son. And she said, No, my master, you man of Elohim, do not lie unto your handmaid.
Now you see that? She hadn't even desired it because she didn't think it was possible. She had already purchased the field. She purchased the field before the negotiation had even been started by what she had done for him. Then he decided something need to be done for you, for all this care that you putting in for us as we go about to do our God's business. Do understand now? They wasn't going back and forth because he was going to his beach house. They going back and forth because he taking care of the Most High's business. They then made it easier for him to deal with his father's business. Then now, he put something into her bank account. Go ahead.
And the woman conceived and bare a son at that season that Elisha had said unto her, according to the time of life.
Now, she didn't even think to ask for this. So then this brings about something. What price does one put on getting their life together? When we deal in carnality, the carnal things of the world can all be priced out one way or another. We can easily estimate the price of installing a surveillance camera in our dwelling or getting our transmission rebuilt for our vehicle. But how much does salvation cost? How do we value a non-tangible item? We also have to examine the value of the things that play a role in us attaining unto our salvation. Let's say the vehicle that leads us to salvation is maybe a donkey. Is the donkey then valued at the same rate as all other donkeys? Being that now this donkey has led you to something that is priceless. Let's go to Psalms chapter 37. I can find the going rate for a donkey. I can tell you what the price should be. Psalms 37, and we're going to start that at verse 1.
Fret not yourself because of evildoers, neither be you envious against the workers of lawlessness, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass, and wither as the green herb. Trust in Yahweh, and do good, so shall you dwell in the land, and verily you shall be fed. Delight yourself also in Yahweh, and he shall give you the desires of your heart.
Okay, pause. Wait a minute. What you think she did? Delight yourself also in Yahweh, and he shall give you the desires of your heart. Somebody else might have been watching and said, you know what, that lady doing too much. Why are you doing this for this man? Why you? I mean, you gonna build something? You gonna set up a little room? You gonna set up a table, a candlestick? You doing all of this? Why you doing this? Delight yourself also in Yahweh, and he shall give you the desires of your heart. Her desires were so deep in her heart, she stopped desiring it because she didn't think it was possible. When he said, you shall bring forth a son, she said, don't lie. Don't do that. Don't give me false hope. Don't do that. Her desire was so deep in here, it wouldn't even come out of her mouth. But because of the service that she put in, Yahweh pulled it out. That which she wouldn't even let come out of her mouth. It said the desires of your heart. There's some things that's so deep in there, you done forgot they in there. See, she done got accustomed to not having this. He said, no. No, it's in there. I'm going to give you that. I know you didn't ask for it. You might have asked for it 20 years ago. But because you didn't get it in that time, you figured you weren't never going to get it. See, there's some things that you done stop asking for because you have already got in your mind, I ain't never going to get that. You ain't doing the right work. Because when you're doing the right work, he'll give it to you and then remind you, you remember you wanted this that time in 1997 that time? You remember? Remember you watching the championship game you was saying? You remember? You remember? Here it is. You don't forgot. Go ahead.
You know, when you look at it, it says, delight yourself also in Yahweh. When she had the chamber built, she said, so he can go and come as he please.
Yep.
No stipulation on him coming and going. He can show up 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. It's open to him.
But how many people that might have been watching that said, you're doing too much? How many people might have been looking at that and saying, I don't think you're paying too much for that field. But you know what? Those was probably people who already had sons. Read.
Commit your way unto Yahweh, trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. And he shall bring forth your righteousness as the light, and your judgment as the noonday. Rest in Yahweh, and wait patiently for him. Fret not yourself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who brings wicked devices to pass. Cease from anger, and forsake wrath. Fret not yourself in any wise to do evil. For evildoers shall be cut off, but those that wait upon Yahweh, they shall inherit the earth. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yes, you shall diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace.
Right. If all of these people go inherit the earth, who are these people that going to heaven? What they doing? Yahshua coming here and setting up a righteous governmental system on earth. Who are all these other people? Where they going? Where they at? And when the war started in heaven, where they gonna go? We run from war on land. You know what it's got to be like when angels war against each other? Two big brothers get to scuffling in here, we're gonna clear out this room. But you want to go where angels who have a unmeasurable amount of power and they finna fight. Lots of them. What you gonna do in the middle of that? Right. Go ahead.
The wicked plots against the just, and gnash upon him with his teeth. The Adonai shall laugh at him, for he sees that his day is coming. The wicked have drawn out the sword, and have bent their bow, to cast down the poor and needy, and to slay such as be of upright conversation.
Your conversation is not just what you do, you say, it's also what you do. Go ahead.
Their sword shall enter into their own heart, and their bows shall be broken. A little that a righteous man has is better than the riches of many wicked. For the arms of the wicked shall be broken, but Yahweh upholds the righteous. Yahweh knows the days of the upright, and their inheritance shall be forever. They shall not be ashamed in the evil time, and in the days of famine they shall be satisfied. But the wicked shall perish, and the enemies of Yahweh shall be as the fat of lambs. They shall consume, into smoke shall they consume away. The wicked borrows, and pays not again, but the righteous shows mercy and gives. For such as be blessed of him shall inherit the earth, and they that be cursed of him shall be cut off. The steps of a good man are ordered by Yahweh, and he delights in his way.
Now, the steps of a good man are ordered by Yahweh, and he delights in his way. The problem is, every last one of your steps ain't going to be delightful to you. There's going to be some things that you're going to question yourself. Man, I know I should have went left. No, he wanted you to go there. Yeah, but I could have avoided all this. No. No, he wanted you to go through that. Because there's certain things we don't learn until we go through hell. See, we them kind of people that we can't learn from somebody else's mistake. We got to make them on our own. See, we tell them, hey man, that's in that plug there. That's called electricity. They don't play around with that. We got to stick the fork in it, let it pop, and let us scream like a girl with pink socks on. Then we know, you know what? I shouldn't play with that. Didn't he tell you that? Long time ago, don't play with that. But you had to get burnt yourself. You had to go ahead and blow the fuse and damn near burn down the house to figure that out on your own. You got to learn from somebody else's mistakes, or else this is going to be a long life for you. It's going to be a very long life. A long life filled with grief. Because you got to go through everything. You got to learn. Nope. I done been told many stories about that. Let me not deal with that this way. Let me approach that differently. And you might be able to get through that thing without a whole lot of burns and bruises. Because you learn from somebody else's mistake. But if you hell bent on making them all yourself, hey, you're going to have some issues. Go ahead.
Verse 24. Though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for Yahweh upholds him with his hand.
Now, if it says, though he fall, verse 24, he shall not be utterly cast down. Now back up, verse 23. The steps of a good man are ordered by Yahweh. Jump to 24. Though he fall. Wait a minute. If he ordering his step, why he fall? You realize it is some falls that are absolutely designed with your name on it, right? See, this is what happened when folk walk around.
I've done this from my youth up. What, like I yet?
You do understand that there's some falls with your name on it, right? No matter what you do, you're going to fall right here. No matter what you do, you're going to fall right there. Because I got a plan for you up in here. You ain't going to educate yourself out of it. You ain't going to fast your way out of it. You ain't going to pray your way out of it. This right here got your name on it. You going through this. Go ahead.
I have been young, and now I'm old. Yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. He is ever merciful and lends, and his seed is blessed. Depart from evil and do good, and dwell forevermore. For Yahweh loves judgment, and forsakes not his saints. They are preserved forever, but the seed of the wicked shall be cut off. The righteous shall inherit the land, and dwell therein forever. The mouth of the righteous speaks wisdom, and his tongue talks of judgment. The law of his Elohim is in his heart. None of his steps shall slide.
The law of his Elohim is in his heart. So he can wear, fringes if he wants to, but he don't need fringes to tell him don't steal from his neighbor. That ain't what he wear his fringes for. He wear his fringes because he think he just looks dashing. He don't wear his fringes to say, you know what, that's my neighbor's wife. That's my neighbor's wife. That is not my wife. He don't need the fringes he don't need them to tell him that. Because the law of his Elohim is in his heart. He already know that ain't his. Go ahead.
The wicked watches the righteous and seeks to slay him. Yahweh will not leave him in his hand, nor condemn him when he is judged. Wait on Yahweh and keep his way, and he shall exalt you to inherit the land. When the wicked are cut off, you shall see it. I have seen the wicked in great power, and spreading himself like a green bay tree. Yet he passed away, and, lo, he was not. Yes, I sought him, but he could not be found. Mark the perfect man, and behold the upright, for the end of that man is peace. But the transgressors shall be destroyed together, the end of the wicked shall be cut off. But the salvation of the righteous is of Yahweh. He is their strength in the time of trouble. And Yahweh shall help them and deliver them. He shall deliver them from the wicked and save them because they trust in him.
All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 6. And we're going to read a couple verses out of here. Matthew chapter 6. And we're going to read verses 25 through 34. So if we delight ourselves in Yahweh, then the desires of our heart will be given unto us. You got to work to even get to that point of understanding what's in your own heart. It says the heart is deceitfully wicked. Who can know it? See, we think we know what's in there. We know what's on the surface. Because that's our last thoughts. But there's some stuff that's deep down in there. Go ahead.
Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what you shall eat or what you shall drink, nor yet for your body, what you shall put on. Is not the life more than meat, and the body than raiment? Behold the fowls of the air, for they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns, yet our heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more better than they? Which of you, by taking thought, can add 1 cubit onto his stature? And why take you thought for raiment? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. And yet I say unto you, that even Shlomo in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Wherefore, if Elohim so clothe the grass of the field, which today is, and tomorrow is cast into the oven, shall he not much more clothe you, O you of little faith? Therefore, take no thought, saying, what shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? Or wherewithal shall we be clothed?
One of the things you have to think about when Yeshua sends these disciples out, he tell them, don't take nothing. Go.
No script, no purse.
Don't take don't take no script, no purse. Go. Because you got to learn to trust me. So you need to go out with nothing and see what happens when you have nothing. Almost every time I've ended up getting something, it's when I had no money. I have gotten the most when I was the brokest. I go to the dealership to get one car. These folks talking about, now we just got this other car in, which is sitting right up there. Now don't bring that car down. I can't afford that car. No, we gonna bring, look, we just got this out. Man, I told you don't get up there. Man, don't do that. Yahweh had already decided. No, you go home with this car. But Yahweh, I can't afford that car. Shut up, boy. I know what I'm doing. Then you find out what he wanted was way better than what you wanted for yourself. Go ahead.
For after all these things do the Gentiles seek. For your heavenly Father knows that you have need of all these things. But seek you first the kingdom of Elohim.
See, that's not what we do. We seek our own thing. And then we spend all our time trying to work on it, and we can't figure out why it still ain't worked out. Then you see other people, and they clocked in somewhere else. And then they get home, and their stuff worked out. Go ahead.
And his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Take therefore no thought for tomorrow, for tomorrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof.
All right, let's go to chapter 25. Matthew chapter 25. And we're going to read verses 1 through 13. So he's letting us know that the work had to be put in one way or another. Matthew chapter 25, and let's start at verse 1.
Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps, and went forth to meet the bridegroom.
All right, so you got 10 virgins going to meet the bridegroom, and they have, all of them have lamps. Go ahead.
And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish.
5 good, 5 bad. Now, in the daytime, you can't tell the difference between the wise and the foolish. They all look the same. Go ahead.
They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them.
The foolish do not have oil. Oil is a symbol of the Spirit. They don't have any spirit. But while everything is light, you cannot tell the difference. Go ahead.
But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, they also slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom comes. Go you out to meet him.
Now, he purposely comes in midnight when it's dark. Now, you can tell the difference between the wise virgins and the foolish virgins. See, they all dressed the same. They all got their lamps. They look alike. And they virgins. This is wonderful. But there's a difference between them. But you need darkness to tell the difference. This is why I say there are certain periods of darkness that no matter what you do, you ain't gonna not go through them. That darkness got your name on it. This is prescribed darkness. This ain't just something that he happened to do. No. He's doing this on purpose. Because in this darkness, you're going to be able to tell that something ain't quite right. Go ahead.
Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you. But go you rather to them that sell, and buy for yourselves.
Now, we now have a situation. Because the wise were wise for more than one reason. They were wise because they took care of the business and made sure that they had oil. They were also wise because they knew not to give their oil up to the foolish. But we have to then ask ourselves a question. The oil costs money. They had to work for this oil. While they working for the oil, what the other virgins doing? Are they out enjoying themselves or, doing whatever it is they do? So they were content allowing their sisters to work to purchase oil while they went off and enjoyed themselves. Then when the time comes, they want to take their sister's oil and use it to go into the marriage. But at some point, the wise have to be wise enough to say no. Go ahead.
And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Adonai, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not.
Now, why would he deal with them in this way? Let me tell you something. The fact that the other virgins left with a lamp with no oil, they always intended on taking the wise oil. From the beginning of this journey, they never intended on paying their part. They were always going to take one of their sisters' oil. They knew it when they began the journey, that they wasn't going to pay for their own oil. They were just surprised when the sister said no. They wasn't ready for the sister saying no. But the minute they put that lamp in their hand and they knew they didn't have no oil, they said, we're going to get some of theirs. Right. And that worked. Until the day the sister says no. Go ahead.
Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man comes.
All right. Let's go to Luke chapter 7. So at some point, you got to decide, this field that I'm purchasing, I got to secure my spot. Then I can help you get yours. But if I don't secure my spot, then we all out. Luke chapter 7, and we're going to start at verse 36. Luke chapter 7, and we're going to start that at verse 36.
And one of the Pharisees desired him that he would eat with him. And he went into the Pharisee's house and sat down to meat.
Now, Pharisees in general don't deal with Yeshua. All right? Pharisees are, very strict according to the law in certain of the things that they deal with. So they don't like any of, some of the, the things that he's bringing forth. Okay? So this is somewhat of a conflict of interest. And he must have been a great Pharisee, because the rest of the Pharisees would hide if they knew. There were other Pharisees who liked Yahshua, but they went to him in secret. So the other Pharisees wouldn't know that they were, dealing with him. So this must be a man of substance, that he can openly invite Yahshua to his house and not suffer rebuke from the rest of the Pharisees. Go ahead.
And behold, a woman in the city, which was a sinner, when she knew that Yahshua sat at meat in the Pharisee's house, brought an alabaster box of ointment, and stood at his feet behind him weeping, and began to wash his feet with her tears, and did wipe them with the hairs of her head, and kissed his feet, and anointed them with the ointment. Now when the Pharisee which had bidden him saw it, he spake within himself.
Within himself now. Go ahead.
Saying, this man, if he were a prophet, would have known who and what manner of woman this is that touches him, for she's a sinner.
Now, this is the man who invited him to his house. Don't get it twisted. People will invite you to their house or come to yours, and they still got indignation against you. The man who invited him has indignation against him. He don't really believe, and his inside work. If he was a prophet, he wouldn't be dealing with her. Go ahead.
And Yahshua answering said unto him, Simeon, I have somewhat to say unto you. And he says, Master, say on. There was a certain creditor which had 2 debtors. The one owed 500 pence, and the other 50. And when they had nothing to pay, he frankly forgave them both. Tell me therefore, which of them will love him most? Simeon answered and said, I suppose that he to whom he forgave most. And he said unto him, you have rightly judged.
You see that? See, this is where we draw the line between the one that says, I've done all this from my youth up, what lack I yet? He don't really think that he owes anything. See, I've been in this word. You can't really tell me nothing. So wait a minute, wait. So which one do you think? And look at the situations. You have a Pharisee who has operated in the law. So he's raised in his word. Then you got this sinful woman who has been about town. He said, yeah, but that woman gonna love me more than you. See, you look down on her. But see, I stand better dealing with her than dealing with you. You invited me to your house, but you got indignation with me. She gonna love me more because I forgave her more. Now you see why he has a tendency to deal with knuckleheads? Right. See, those that ain't never got their nails dirty,
I might deal, but I'm not going to pay that much.
Right. He said, but you know that knucklehead? He gonna put some money down on the field. And when they come down to swing, that knucklehead gonna swing for me. You gonna stand on the sideline. Right. With all your law knowing. With all your scripture knowing. You gonna stand on the sideline. That knucklehead and that woman that you say is a woman about town, they gonna fight for me. I stand better with them. Read, priest.
And he turned to the woman and said unto Simeon, see you this woman? I entered into your house. You gave me no water for my feet, but she has washed my feet with her tears and wiped them with the hairs of her head.
Now he got to cut the Pharisee for what's in his heart. Go ahead.
You gave me no kiss, but this woman since the time I came in has not ceased to kiss my feet.
Right. See, he had a level that he wouldn't cross because he think he already got it. So that's why he doesn't see the level that she's willing to go. See, she know, look, I done put some stuff out there. I got some things on my name. So I got some works I got to do. But when you face with somebody who believe that they already got it, they're not going to put in that kind of work. And they're going to look at the people who put it in strange. Go ahead.
My head with oil you did not anoint. But this woman has anointed my feet with ointment. Wherefore I say unto you, her sins, which are many.
Which are many. She done done way more dirt than you. But I'm going to forgive her. Go ahead.
Are forgiven. For she loved much. But to whom little is forgiven, the same loves little.
That's why your love small. Because you think I ain't got to do that much. So you ain't put that much in. I'd rather have her. Yeah, she's sinful. Yeah, y'all can tell me all the stuff she done did. Look, man, I seen her going behind the building. Well, what's your name, Nim? That's all right. Bring her to me. That's all right. I'm going to make her better than the Nim she went behind the building with. Watch what I do with her. Go ahead.
And he said unto her, your sins are forgiven. And they that sat at meat with him began to say within themselves, who is this that forgives sins also? And he said unto the woman, your faith has saved you. Go in peace.
All right. I want to go into to one more thing. I know we don't have a graphic for that. Let's go to Matthew chapter 20. This is going to be the last thing that we're going to read, but I want to go into this because we, dealing with this, the whole part of purchasing this field and how many things we decide we're either going to do or not going to do to deal with these things. So Matthew chapter 20, I want you to start at verse 1.
For the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder, which went out early in the morning to hire laborers into his vineyard.
Now, you see, the first thing is when we have decided, that we want a job, we go out with a chip on our shoulder.
Well, I have certain education. So, I'm only going to do a certain job, because I got letters behind my name, you know what I'm saying? So there's certain work I will not do.
Now, if we really want a job, we go out early at Home Depot. You're going to find a whole lot of Mexicans sitting out there. What they doing? They waiting. Can't speak a lick of English. Ready to work. You show them a hammer and a nail? Got it. He know what to do. Ready to work. Us, we done got so educated, we got certain things we not gonna do. So then we get to the point where we without work, not because there ain't no work. We without work because we just won't do certain types. Go ahead.
And when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into his vineyard.
Mm-hmm.
And he went out about the third hour and saw others standing idle in the marketplace, and said unto them, go you also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right I will give you. And they went their way. Again he went out about the 6th and 9th hour, and did likewise. And about the 11th hour he went out, and found others standing idle, and says unto them, why stand you here all the day idle?
Why stand you here all the day idle? Now, this is an important part about this. Remember now, it's a penny a day, which is the agreement. Okay? Go ahead.
That was the first set. He said to the second set,
whatever is right.
Whatever is right. So they working, not even knowing what the price is. But they happy working.
Yep.
Okay. They say unto him, because no man has hired us.
All right. So they are out there because no man has hired them. Now, we have to, that is an important point that we'll come back to a little bit further down. Go ahead.
He says unto them, go you also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right, that shall you receive. So when evening was come, the master of the vineyard said unto his steward, call the laborers, and give them their hire, beginning from the last unto the first.
Now, from the last unto the first, this is already causing an issue because the last just got there. the first been there. All right? So already in his payment style, he's causing a problem. Because normally if he already paid the first, you know they gone. Mm-hmm. Y'all know we don't really hang around when we get our check, right? Mm-hmm. We get our check, all right, hey, bro. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We gonna dip. We're not really hanging around. So the first is only around because they ain't got paid. That means they have to witness this. Go ahead.
And when they came that were hired about the 11th hour, they received every man a penny. But when the first came, they supposed that they should have received more. And they likewise received every man a penny. And when they had received it, they murmured against the good man of the house.
Now, they ready to renegotiate the payment. Now, this payment renegotiation goes both ways. Sometimes people look at what other people are doing, and then they renegotiate how much they think they ought to get paid. But then there's also sometimes where folks make agreement, and afterwards they decide they're going to renegotiate because now they ain't going to do the same amount of work because of some other stuff. Whatever that other stuff is. Go ahead.
Saying, these last have wrought but 1 hour, and you have made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden and heat of the day.
Now, this is where the workers get upset. Okay? Now, you have to understand, and this is things that we don't do. We oftentimes believe that we have the same information that everybody else has. The householder has information that the other workers don't have. Now, the workers do have a valid point. Where you been? We've been doing this work. Where you been? But the householder knows one thing. Nobody hired them. That's where they were. Mm-hmm. So, to the point, they were looking, but could not find anything. Now, here comes the other part. If you wasn't looking, where the hell was you when this work began? When you look at it like that, then that indignation is valid. We've been doing this work. Where you been? And if you ain't been looking, how is it you just now showing up? So you got two levels of things happening here. But the householder know that. Go ahead.
But he answered one of them and said, Friend, I do you no wrong. Did not you agree with me for a penny?
Right. Did not I pay the agreed price? What gives you the right to negotiate the purchase price? Because now you think you worked harder than somebody else. The agreement was for a penny. I paid you that. You can't look at what I paid another man because I gave him, I showed mercy on him and allowed him to get the same pay. That don't mean I need to pay you more. Go ahead.
Take that as yours and go your way. I will give on to this last, even as on to you. Is it not lawful for me to do what I will with mine own?
Is it not lawful for me to do what I will with mine own? Do I have to ask you what I'm going to do with mine? Go ahead.
Is your eye evil because I'm good? So the last shall be first, and the first last. For many be called, but few chosen.
But few shall be chosen. And a lot of times, how we deal with things is the deciding factor of whether or not we are called or whether we become those who are chosen. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.